Polls are now showing that in Michigan, the Arab American vote will be equally split. So we are getting data that says about 38% for Kamala Harris, 38% for Donald Trump, and the remainder saying that they will vote elsewhere. But what we can expect, especially in a place like Michigan, that Democrats will get significantly less amount of votes from Arab American populations who are primarily Muslim. So again, we expect an erosion, and the fact that there's a big population of Muslims and Arab Americans in Michigan will be very important in terms of the prospects for Kamala Harris on Tuesday and Wednesday. Well, so the Muslim vote, there is no such thing as a broadly speaking Muslim vote in the United States. There are obviously communities within the broader Muslim umbrella that have their own interests. So, for example, Pakistani Americans who are largely Muslim have a different set of priorities than Arab Muslims, which are primarily, in states like Michigan. And so since the beginning of the war in Gaza and Israel's ongoing barbarity in Gaza and the United States enabling that through military and economic support, there has emerged a broader Muslim view on the fact that they want to punish the Democrats for that support that they have provided to Israel. So we're beginning to see that historically, where broadly speaking, Muslim Americans tended to vote Democrats. For example, we have the data from 2020, where Arab Americans who are mostly Muslims, we need to realize that part of them are also Lebanese Christians, voted about 67% in favor of Joe Biden in the 2020 election. Polls are now showing that in Michigan, the Arab American vote will be equally split. So we are getting data that says about 38% for Kamala Harris, 38% for Donald Trump, and the remainder saying that they will vote elsewhere. So we have proxies at this point in time, but what we can expect, especially in a place like Michigan, that Democrats will get significantly less amount of votes from Arab American populations who are primarily Muslim, but again, within that group are Lebanese Christians and Pakistani Muslims, etc., as well, if you were to look at the broader Muslim vote, so to speak. The area where the Muslim vote is most important outside of Michigan is a state like Pennsylvania. And again, it's a small number, roughly 1% of the population. But because Pennsylvania and Michigan are both swing states, even small shifts in voter turnout or voter priority within this broader community can have a major implication. And we do expect some erosion of support for the Democrats come election day on Tuesday. It will make a difference in a place like Michigan, most definitely. Again, that's because places like Dearborn, which are Arab American in majority population, are very emotional, rightfully so, about what's going on in Palestine and Lebanon. And so given how close Michigan is expected to be, this vote will matter, and many people will keep an eye in terms of where communities like Dearborn ended up voting. We must remember that the margin of victory in Michigan in 2020 was less than the number of votes Arab Americans gave to Joe Biden. So that's leading to close insight or close scrutiny of what happens on Tuesday and Wednesday when the results start coming in for us. I think the second thing to look at this also is the fact that what happens in terms of the numbers that were there for the uncommitted movement. The uncommitted movement, for those who don't know, was a movement within the Democratic Party that tried to say that they were not happy with either choice of candidate during the primary elections. And so they decided to say, we're not going to go for anybody. That is a substantial number of people that were part of the uncommitted movement across the United States, but in particular, states like Wisconsin, Minnesota, and Michigan. Again, these are critical swing states for the Democrats. So again, we expect an erosion, and the fact that there's a big population of Muslims and Arab Americans in Michigan will be very important in terms of the prospects for Kamala Harris on Tuesday and Wednesday.